Alright, so picking up where we left off in part 1, okay, we did all the other questions, so we've just got these 5 more to do. So 26, we're looking for that recursive, that explicit, and the graph. But this time we're using a picture. Okay, so we've got the beginning, the first, the second, and the third. So if I made this into a table, beginning would be 0, then first, then second, then third, and then so on. So the beginning we had 2 of those little guys, then we had 6, then we had 10, and then we had 14. Okay, so it looks like we're adding 4 each time, right? So it's common difference, so we're adding 4. Where did we start? We started with 2. So I'd go a sub 0 equals 2, a sub n equals a sub n minus 1 plus 4. Explicit, a sub n equals my starting, 2, plus my growth, 4, and as we keep going, I would times that by n. Okay, now to graph it, we just graph these points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, at 0, we had 2, so right about there. At 1, we went up to 6, so right there. 2 up to 10, and then 3 up to 14, and so on. Now, could I draw a line? Could. It depends on how these grow, and I doubt they'd grow a partial at a time, so most likely on this one, we should probably leave. Apparently I can't just leave the point. There we go. Alright, so there's that one. Okay, now the last 4, we are using a recursive formula to find and graph the first 4 terms. Okay, so the idea here is you want to make a table and you want to find the first 4 terms. Now, because we're dealing with sequences, the first 4 would actually be 1 to 4. Okay, but you can graph 0 as well. And it looks like we're given a sub 0, right? So on this first one we'd have 1. Okay, we should know it's an arithmetic because it's plus 2. That's our growth. So we just add 2. 3, then 5, then 7, then 9 because we're adding 2. So growth, starting number. Okay, then we graph it. 0, 1 would be right there. 1, 3, 2 up to 5, 3 up to 7, and 4 up to 9. Now, because it's a sequence here, we don't want to connect the dots, so we leave it like that. And that's all we're doing here. So, now I don't have to graph this because that's not my first term, that's my 0 term. But you might as well. It doesn't hurt. I won't dock you for it. Now, if you didn't graph this last one, you would get docked for it. Okay, so a sub 0 equals 20, that's my starting. So 0 up to 20. Then our growth is subtracting 4. So we'd end up with 16. So 1, 16. Okay, then 12. So 2 up to 12. 3 subtracting 4 would give us 8. Then 4. So 3, 8, and 4, 4. And once again, we don't draw the line, we leave it as dots. And that's all we need to do. So we need that list. Okay, you need to include these numbers in part of your answer as well, and the graph. And those are for the arithmetic ones. Now the next, as we can see, because it's multiplying, we've got 2 geometric situations here. Okay, so once again, I'm going to make a table. Go to that 4th term. Now a sub 0 equals 2, so I start with 2. My growth is timesing by 3, so it'd be 6, then 18. 18 times 3, 4, 2, 54. And 54 times 3 would be 162. So now I graph 0, 2. Looks like we're counting by tens here. Okay, so 0, 2 would be right about there, close to the bottom. Then notice there's halfway points. So 1 is actually the second line over. So 1/6 would be a little above halfway. 2/18 would be close to 20. Oops, see, and I just made that same mistake, didn't I? There's 2/18. Then 3, we jump clear up to 54, so right about there. And then 4, we jump clear up to 162, so right about there. Well, that's a little high, isn't it? Right about there. Now, because we're dealing with sequences, we don't want to connect the dots, but if we weren't, obviously we draw it like that. But we're not, so we leave it right there. Okay, now the last one, same idea. Figure out our numbers, and then we draw the graph. So we start at 3 here, and we're growing by timesing by 4. So 12 times 4 is 48. 48 times 4. So that would be 2 and 3, 16 plus 3, 192. And then 192 times 4 would be 8, then 36, so 768. Okay, so we start out at 0. Now notice we're counting by 25s each line. Okay, so 0, 3 would be really close to the bottom. Okay, so 0, 3, and then 112. So 0, 3 would be really close, and then 112 would be about halfway, because 12 is almost halfway. And then 248 would be slightly below. Then 3 already jumps up to 192, so pretty close to 200. And then 4 clear up to 768, so pretty close to that. Oops, and I needed to scoot over, didn't I? There we go. And once again, normally you would draw the line, but because we're dealing with sequences, we're not supposed to. And how did that delete that? That's weird. Because I had the lines on there, right? Anyway, you would just have the points. I'm not going to draw them again. So if you need to, scoot back and then see where they are. That's weird that they disappeared on me like that. Anyway, there we go, guys. So make sure you guys are ready for this test. Hopefully watching those helped you out. The questions you're going to encounter on the test are exactly like the ones that you just saw. Okay? Same concepts, same ideas, different numbers. So study this as much as you need to make yourself ready. And good luck.